everybody. Welcome to Living the Next Chapter. I have, how do I put this? An exciting podcast today. I have an exciting guest, somebody that I don't know if I would even have had anticipated the opportunity to talk to. And Angel is such a nice, kind person to give up time today to spend with us on the podcast. Angel Aviles is here. She would be known to you from a movie a little while ago called Sad Girl. The star of Sad Girl, the first name you see in the opening credits, is our guest today here on Living the Next Chapter. I am thrilled to have you with us. Welcome to the podcast. Nice to have you here. How are you?
I'm awesome. So the film was actually called Vida Loca, and I played Sad Girl.
That's right. That's right.
So and for those of you who had translations, because I know you're in Canada,
yes,
it was called My Crazy Life in certain places.
Beautiful. So My Crazy Life. Awesome.
My Crazy Life.
So, okay. So can we jump back there a little bit? Because I mentioned to you before we hit record, my wife came home from work. She's upstairs watching the movie right now and thrilled that I get to talk to you. So can you tell me a little bit about the movie and like, how did you end up starring in this movie? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure, I can. So Vida Loca is a movie about gang culture in Los Angeles, and it takes place in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And the thing that makes it unique is that it is from the girl's perspective, which is really, really rare. It had never been done, and to this day, I think that it's probably never been repeated or repeated in the same way. I'll say that.
Yeah.
It started out as an art film, an art house film. We were going to hit all of the festivals, and it ended up being a cult classic. It ended up being something that was just adopted into Chicano culture. It is now taught in schools, both as a Chicano studies project, as well as in the film departments of major film schools. And it's just an honor because I've had the chance to meet fans across the world and really had a chance to play a character that had never been represented before. So it was a really special project. One of the things I do want to say is that one of the things that made it unique was that we as actors worked with the actual gang members. And that was just such a surreal and incredible experience as an artist, as a human, mm-hmm. As a filmmaker. It was just amazing.
So prior to the movie, what was your knowledge of the culture and your experience? Did you come in with some knowledge to the character, or was it completely learned on during filming?
So I'll say this. I grew up in New York City. I went to the High School of Performing Arts. I came from a very artsy family. My mom was in a theater group. My brother was a comedian and an actor. His name was Aviles. Some of you may have known him from the film Ghost. So my other brother is a writer. So I came from a very theatrical, very artistic family. But also came from a very Latin family, came from a community that was lower middle class, was exposed during my childhood to, just the blight of poverty, right? Mm-hmm. I grew up in the 70s in New York City. It was madness in the 70s and 80s, drug culture, violence, not gang violence. We had our own style of violence in New York, but mm-hmm. we didn't have gangs, and not to the extent that they had on the West Coast, obviously. So I came into the culture from a very different perspective. I will say that there are definitely things that I could relate to, and as an artist, it was really, really important for me to have a sense of not only non-judgment, but a sense of admiration, love for the community. And that definitely happened to this day.
It's amazing. So what was the response from the gang members that you worked with filming the movie to you coming into the role? Was there an acceptance? Were they happy to have somebody come in and tell the story? Some resistance? What was the response?
That's a great question, because we tell this story all the time when we're on tour. And I'm still in touch with some of the women from the neighborhood who have gone on to do some incredible things. Um, advocates for the community, just beautiful people. But I, of course, I was an outsider. So the concern was like, who the heck is this? Am I gonna, is she gonna be able to represent, like, do it how we do it?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of proving to be done. But I definitely feel like I won them over. I did them justice because I was super respectful. My only intention was to represent them in a way that I felt was fair and as beautiful as I could as an artist, as a young woman.
Yeah.
And I think I did the right thing. I think I won them over.
It's a great movie, and I love the perspective of coming at it from a woman's point of view. And like you said, in the movie, even you can sense like this imbalance between the men and the women, and it seems like you guys in the movie, you're just building that bridge, and you're trying to raise up, the awareness of what it was like in that culture, in that time of that time frame and everything. And it captures so much, and it's a great performance. And I'm very happy that you have time tonight to kind of chat about this and other things as well. But I just wanted to bring that up at the beginning because, like I said, Jen, my wife, is upstairs enjoying the movie right now. So it's really fun to have time with you. So thank you for making that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. So let's switch gears a little bit. Angel, tell me a little bit about what you're doing right now, how you are investing in people, and we're going to get into the book that you've written as well. But what is your passion right now? What is driving you as a creative person and in your pursuit right now? What are you living?
Oh my gosh. So currently I'm in Mexico, and I've been traveling for about a year, and just having the freedom to experience different cultures and to be able to do what I love from various places in the world is my version of living my best life. So new experiences are fueling my creativity. As you know, because you're a musician,
Mm-hmm.
there's no substitute from actually living life. That is like the food for the creative soul. You have to have an experience, even if that experience is torture, right? I've decided that I've had enough torture in my life, and that my new life experiences will be joyful, beautiful, as incredible as possible. Obviously, we're living on the planet Earth, and we're going to have ebbs and flows of everything. But yeah, currently really expanding my knowledge of culture. I feel like it's really, really important. Solving big problems requires a diversity of experience, of thought, and meeting new people in different places provides that. What I do for a living is that I'm a coach, and I coach primarily women of color, and I coach them I'm a confidence coach, essentially. So I coach them to develop the confidence that is required to create boundaries, whether those boundaries are in families, whether those boundaries are at work, just general boundaries, whether those boundaries are within themselves. So how they treat their body, how they treat their mind, how they treat their spirit. And I absolutely love what I do. I can celebrate a little goodness that's come out of my practice. I was awarded a certificate of recognition from the city of Los Angeles for my work in my community. I've worked with the state of California, and I really love what I do. I feel like it's making a difference. The award I received was for mental health advocacy. I'm a very, very I'm passionate about mental wellness.
That's
What I
amazing.
do.
So when you're working with your clients and your customers and your community, what are some of the common things that you're seeing from person to person as you interact with them? Are you seeing some kind of a common thing, a common thread maybe that people are struggling with when they come to you?
Absolutely. There's several common themes. I think that um, uh, feelings of not enoughness comes up.
Okay.
And as artists, we tend to understand that really, really well. So this idea that other people are doing things that we're not doing, so undervaluing our own ourselves, really, our talents, our abilities. I see fear, of course, lack of trust, lack of forgiveness, all sort of on the surface pointing toward the outside, but when you go deeper, it's always about ourselves and our ability to trust ourselves, to forgive ourselves, to just to accept ourselves and to create a sense of self-worth. Those are some themes that I see regularly.
So it's interesting. I was talking to an author today, Angel, and she was talking about how her mother, when she would bake cookies, would always eat the broken ones and the not so nice ones and give all the best to her family. And as a mother, the daughter went to her mom and said, why are you doing that? Well, I don't want you to have the broken ones. I want you to have the nice ones. That's what I want to provide to my family. I will eat the ones that aren't so nice. And there's this mentality of, as a mother and as a woman, that you always give your best to everyone else and you settle for what's left and what's broken in life, and that's enough to sustain you. And she was challenged by that topic and thought of, why as a woman should I always give my best to everyone else and not take care of myself? And I heard that and I was just like, wow, what a story, that was lived out in that way. Do you find that working with the women you work with, are they always in the giving mode in life and not taking care of themselves to that extent?
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. It is absolutely exactly that. And the problem with that is that most of these women, they do this at home and they now do it at their jobs as well. So the requirement to give, to be the best, to prove themselves, right? Because when you come from a marginalized community, there's always you always have to be elevated just to be at ground level. So you're always overachieving at work. Most of my clients have multiple degrees and they are still not getting paid what their male counterparts will get paid, but they're doing so much to prove themselves.
Wow.
So they overdo at work and then they come home, they're exhausted and they have to overdo at home as well, because you can't let go of the traditional rule either.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to go to work, but you also have to, so there's this dual pressure that exists because you're towing the line of culture, right? You've got to be everything that you were taught you should be as a woman, but then also succeed in this sort of unattainable male dominated world.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that definitely is a theme, and it leads to burnout because it's you're setting yourself up for failure. There's no way anyone can attain that. It's impossible.
Yeah. That's a challenge. And I'm coming at obviously from a male point of view, but listening to my wife and listening to great authors and to yourself, just learning. And so do you see a time when this will be more of a level playing field, or is this going to be a struggle that just continues?
I'm always an optimist.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that we have to do is just figure out how we do it, as individuals, right? And recognize that solutions change, people change, circumstances change. And so rather than looking at this as like, oh, I found the cure to this, recognize that that we are in an evolutionary process of constantly teaching and constantly learning, because things change and generations change, and we're changing the way we think and the way we behave. And you know, will it take time? Yes, but that doesn't mean that something else won't come up.
Yeah.
Right? There'll be something new to work on. I just think that most of the time we fear what that person who decides that it's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to put your physical and mental health first. You know, when you get on the plane and they tell you to make sure that you put your oxygen mask on first before you assist other people.
Yeah.
That makes sense on the plane. Well, we're always flying. And so it's okay to do those things. And the fear of the monster you thought you would be if you didn't do it first, if you didn't treat yourself first, that never happens, because you're actually creating an environment of thriving for yourself. And you're able to create an environment, you're able to walk your talk. You're able to show the generation that comes up after you that it's okay to love yourself. Loving yourself doesn't make you a jerk.
So there's there's a bad connotation to the word selfish.
Right.
But what if we said self first? Right?
Self,
it's like it's the oxygen mask. That's a great analogy. I love that. You know, you can't help anybody if you're part of the problem, right? And if you can put yourself first and build up that inner person, right? That's where you need to focus. And otherwise, you're not going to be as good or as effective with the people around you if you aren't working on you.
Yes, absolutely. And if we think about it, obviously the plane analogy is a physical analogy, but you're doing exactly that when you deny yourself your emotional wellness, your emotional stability. You deny yourself your ability to be creative. You know, when you asked, how did I get here? Well, I had a breakdown. It was a complete meltdown. I was burnt out playing the roles that I had created for myself. And so out of that, I realized that it's paramount to take care of our mental well-being. It's paramount. It's just as important to address our mental health as it is to put the oxygen mask on, or to think about what we eat. You know, our consumption is more than just what our body takes in, it's what our brain takes in.
And then I guess there's a whole other side of confidence as well. Confidence in ourselves.
Absolutely.
And then building up the inner strength, right? To just, in some cases, survive. I just think of how difficult things have been in the last few years for the world as we've gone through what we've gone through. And, you know, just the suffering that's happening at home in silence. People are just looking for someone to come alongside of them and encourage them to strengthen themselves and to move forward. And that's, I get a sense that's what you're focused on as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And focused on the fact that confidence and arrogance are in complete opposition of one another. So you don't have to worry about confidence. When you are confident, everybody benefits. It's not just for you.
Yeah.
That confidence is a trust in yourself, which allows you to make decisions more freely and more wisely. Okay.
Wow. It's a great topic. I love how we're getting into this. All right. So let's switch gears. Let's talk about the book. Let's maybe a little bit of the journey behind the book as well. And because I want people to understand that there's a resource available to them that you provided. And I'd love to chat about that as well. That'd be really good.
Sure. So as I mentioned, obviously I was an actress, and I went from a career in acting, which was like my ultimate dream, right? I had a career in acting, but I decided to leave acting. One, because the roles in Hollywood for women of color were and continue to be really few and far between. And two, because I had a family and I wanted stability, and the idea of being an artist just didn't provide the stability that I craved.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went back to school. I got into multimedia. I started producing multimedia content in a corporate environment. So I had a 9 to 5 job in marketing, and it was all going well. So I thought, I had, I was as creative as I could be, with all of my responsibilities. But as you know, as your family increases, responsibilities increase. And, I just found myself struggling. The last job was when my mom passed away, and I just found myself at a complete loss and caving under the pressure. And like I said, it caused me to just have a complete breakdown. And what that looked like was bouts of panic, depression, and anxiety. And I remember having my first panic attack. It was horrible. And if anyone out there is struggling with panic, I feel you. I would not wish that on anyone. But I do want to say that I've been panic free for the last 12 years. So it's manageable.
Okay.
Yeah, anxiety free as well. So this breakdown ultimately led to my really, really going on an absolute hunt for body, mind, and spirit wellness. I lost a lot. I got divorced. I lost my house. I went through a tremendous dark period, but out of that, I found me.
Yeah.
And I began to blog about my findings. I began to blog about all of the modalities that are out there in terms of getting well and staying well. And from that came a very organic coaching practice. I began coaching people. And from my coaching practice, people kept saying, "Oh, you should write a book. You should write a book." And so I did. It took me 10 years to write this book.
Wow.
Part of that was because it's very personal and I reveal a lot of things. And I just wasn't ready to share that. I wasn't ready to share it all with the world. And when I finally did, it took off and it became a bestseller, and I'm really, really proud of it. And yeah, that was the journey.
It's amazing. So Too Happy to Be Sad Girl. When was the book released?
It was released in 2020.
2020. It's great.
On my birthday.
Wow. Well, there you go. Good timing on that, right?
Yeah.
So somebody who picks up this book, Angel, what are they going to walk away with after reading this book?
I think they'll walk away with some good storytelling. They'll probably walk away with some laughter, some tears, and most importantly, some concrete tools. I put a lot of exercises in there that are actually practical. You can practically apply them if you are struggling with, again, anxiety, also just being lost creatively. There's a lot in there, since I do come from that performing arts background, So much of my healing does have to do directly with being creative.
Yeah.
We are the creators of our own life. And if we stop being creative, we're dying.
Yeah. That's amazing. So, okay, so let's talk, we're going to wrap up here in a moment. Let's talk about your coaching. Let's talk about what's available to people that are listening to this podcast and they're connecting with you as they listen to you tonight. So how can people reach out to you, and what kind of services would you offer?
Sure. So you can always find me on my website at angelawakened.com. I'm also Angel Awakened on Instagram. Um, you can, I post quite often. I'm on Facebook as well. And so for my coaching, I offer 3 different coaching packages. The first package is a group coaching practice that happens twice a week. And it's a group of amazing, amazing human beings that all come together once a week to share victories. It's all based on a framework that I created for my coaching, my private coaching practice. And it's stellar. Then you can also coach with me one-on-one. I have 2 packages available, and you can find all the information you need on my website. My book is also available. You can get Too Happy to Be Sad Girl on Amazon. It's also available for free. I read it. I had it on Audible. It's available on Audible. But one day, again for my birthday, I decided to post it to YouTube so you can listen to the book absolutely free if you'd like.
That's amazing. That's great.
I feel really, really, I feel blessed by the amount of people who have written to me, telling me that the book changed their lives. And so I just really felt compelled to give. So if you're out there and you want to give it a shot, great. If you like paper, I like paper books, but I also like Audible. So if you're out there and you want to listen, also because I have some hearing impaired, some visually impaired people that I was writing for.
Nice. So Angel, my wife is still watching the movie upstairs as we talk, and I'm going to join her after this and finish watching the movie with her. That's how we're going to end our evening, is with you. So thank you for that. So you've shared your creative spirit through film and shared a message through that movie, which is an amazing movie. Everyone needs to go watch again. But what would be your message tonight for those that are listening? How would you like to end off the podcast? What would you like to say?
I'd like to say that it's okay for you to be confident and to put yourself first. Mm-hmm. It's important to unlearn the idea of what it means to give. Giving till it hurts is an antiquated concept, and it's got to be revised. We don't have to hurt. We can still be givers and not thrust ourselves into toxicity, and you're worth it. You're worth it.
And there it is. It's great. Thank you so much for taking time tonight. I really do appreciate it. Like there's many, many things that you could be doing, and the fact that you have time for us tonight I'm truly appreciative of that. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm thrilled to have time with you and talk. So thank you so much. And we're really looking forward to getting the book. We haven't read it yet, but we're going to be getting this book. But we have a movie to finish watching first. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to move forward with the book. Thank you so much, Angel, for your time tonight.
Thank you, David.
Excellent.
It's a pleasure.
Hi, guys. This is Dave from Living the Next Chapter, a podcast designed to connect authors and audiences. We're always on the lookout for our next interview. If you're an author, a publisher, and you have a book, whether you're just starting, whether you're halfway through writing, or it's all done and you want to tell the world, that's why we're here at Living the Next Chapter. Get in touch with us through livingthenextchapter.com, contact us, and let's set up some time together to discuss your book, to discuss your project, and how we can get you on the show. My name is Dave, and I would love to speak to you. So go to livingthenextchapter.com and let's get over there together and discuss all the great things that you're up to as an author, as a publisher, and let's grow your audience together. Join us on livingthenextchapter.com for great authors and an audience that's eager to hear about what you're up to as an author and a publisher. Contact us today and let's get your book out in front of others. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.